of the comments I get on my 3D pen channel is, why don't you just 3D print it? The answer to that is, I don't have a 3D printer. But what if I did? Here it is. I have been gifted my first 3D printer by a group called STEM and Free Screen Hub. Thank you so much, guys. So, is this it? Is it going to be the end of my 3D pen channel because from now on I will just 3D print everything? We'll have to see. But first things first, enough procrastination. Let's open the box. I have been thinking for some time that I should make a video comparing the 3D pen to the 3D printer, because a lot of people who are new to all this don't know the difference. 3D pens are just cheap versions of 3D printers, right? However, it is hard to compare two things if you don't have one of them. So here is where this guy fits in. And while I do have 8 years of experience with the pen, I actually never used a 3D printer before, ever. So first we'll have to see if I can manage to set this guy up and figure out how to use it. Frankly, I have been procrastinating getting one of these because I'm anxious about having to learn 2 new sets of software, one to print it and one to actually design something on my own. Here's the first difference right out of the gate. You don't need any software for 3D pen. But, as I always advise others, when it looks hard, take baby steps. I am perfectly capable of opening a box. And then, we'll see what needs to be done next. Parts. And, oh, a manual. Yes, I will need that. Nice plate. More parts. Not much filament. This much filament won't go very far on a printer. Here we are. Now let's see how much trouble is the setup going to be. Apparently, first thing they want us to do is to unscrew 4 screws to take off the black part that was there just for the shipping. Now, a disclaimer. This is not a setup video or even an unboxing video. There are way more competent ones you need to watch first before you do any of this, as I did, and I will put some of those links in the description. This is purely so the other newbies like me have some idea what to expect on day 1. Frankly, I expected there to be a lot more assembly involved. But all there is to do is to screw in a couple of parts, like the purge wiper. Tighten 3 screws that are already in there under the print plate, which I won't show you because it's too much trouble to film it so the camera can see it. Then we'll install the bracket for the filament spool holder, which goes into the 2 of the holes left where the shipping safety bracket was removed. And the spool holder just slides right into it. Lastly, there is a clear tube that will guide the filament into the printer, which pops in easily right here, and there is a little holder clip that will keep the cord and the tube organized and prevent them from tangling, especially if you eventually add more tubes, when or if you decide to get the 4-color attachment. And we are ready. Here comes the filament spool. And now it's time to plug in the beast. And here is the on switch. Next, we need to connect to my Wi-Fi network so this guy can talk to my computer and my phone. Apparently, there is an app for this called Bambu Handy, so I can watch it print on my phone from a galaxy far, far away. What makes that possible is a little camera which is built in right here. And what excites me the most about it is that it also takes time lapses of the printing process, which is a super bonus if you're trying to make a video about it. I just moved my printer to the place I want it to live permanently and flip the on button. The printer will go through a calibration routine, which is a bit boring to watch, so we'll skip it. The real setup videos will show you all that. Here is our little touch screen, and I will attempt to load the filament in. It tells me it is heating the nozzle, and while it's doing that, I will push the filament into the clear tube. You can see it go through all the way until it can't go any further. And then it tells you to push the filament in just enough to push it into the print head. I had to punch retry a few times before it cooperated, but when it finally does, you can see the filament pour out of the nozzle right here. First a little and then a lot, and then it spits out what's technically called the poop, and it's ready to print. There are apparently some models already sliced and preloaded onto the printer's SD card, so you can test it out without having to stop at this point to learn some slicer software. Okay, let's print Benchy. Off we go. Every newbie gets to print Benchy. It's the rite of passage. So far, the startup process has been a lot less trouble than I anticipated. Bambu Lab is doing a really good job making a newbie feel reasonably competent and successful on the first try. I guess to give you enough confidence to carry on. They provide excellent support on their website called Bambu Lab Wiki that tells you everything you may possibly want to know about this process. Good. I will need all the confidence I can muster for the next learning curve, which will come when I need to print something that doesn't come pre-sliced on the SD card. Done! I am so excited, as if I actually made it. I want to print something else right away, and for that, I will need to download some slicing software and learn how to use it. It would be so tempting right now to grab some pre-sliced file somewhere to avoid that learning curve. But the people who know anything about 3D printing seem to agree on one thing. Don't print anything you haven't sliced yourself. And we'll see why in a minute. I will now go to Bambu Lab. Since I have their printer, I might as well use their slicer, which is called Bambu Studio. There is a version for Windows and version for Mac. So now I will go to the one for Windows, download it, and install it. Here I am in my Bambu Studio library, and I want to look for some fun project to print next. So I will go to Online Models. My initial problem was if I liked something here, but couldn't print it right away, I could never find the same thing twice. So then I learned I can bookmark, let's say, this green tennis ball by clicking like. And then I go to the top right hand corner and click my profile icon and my likes. And here is the green ball plus all the projects I so far selected as my potential first prints, from which I am now going to pick one. I think I will go with this cute little baby dragon. When I click on it, it will show me more info about printing of it. including if that will work with the printer I have. Looks like A1-mini is listed, so here we go. Download and open. In the top left, I go to Prepare, and there he is, sitting right there, ready to be sliced. But first, one more thing. After considerable amount of digging, I found out Bambu Studio has a dark mode, hiding up here, not under the File menu, but right next to it, under Preferences. For some reason, that menu is not showing on the screen capture. So here is the screenshot of it. And when you enable it, it all goes dark, which is way better for our eyes. So now that we crossed over to the dark side, we can slice a dragon. First, let's have a tiny orientation. Not even anything like a tutorial. I'm just a beginner stumbling in the dark here. This is just to reassure other newbies that it's not as scary as they think, or as I thought anyway. If I click and drag with the left mouse button, I can turn the plate and rotate it all around. If I click and drag on the right mouse button, I can move the whole plate back and forth to a different spot on my screen. Here are some tools in my top bar, and some of them are grayed out, so I can't use them at the moment. But if I clicked on my object, it selects it, and then I gain access to the whole top menu. Good! I am not planning to do much to this dragon because I don't know what I'm doing yet. So I will try to keep the setup just to what is absolutely necessary. Here is the part when I can see why they tell you you have to slice your own projects. Because here on the top, you select the printer you have, the plate you're using, the size of the nozzle you are using, the filament you have, and these things are super user specific. So you can be sure any pre-sliced file out there will have all those things in a correct combination for you. So if you want it done right, you need to do it yourself, as usual. Below that we have some menus labeled Quality, Strength, Supports and Others. But I am going to assume that until I know better, that they know better and keep most of these features on their default setting, until told otherwise. I will now click Slice Plate and see what happens. And it gives me a warning. Your object has floating regions. Sounds like I will now need to worry about my floating regions. I swish it all around and don't see any floating regions. I would imagine they would be right here because that's an overhang and that's unsupported and could collapse when printing. After some research, I found I need to go back to Prepare and go to the same menu where I found the dark mode, but instead of Preferences, I click on the one above, which says View, and in this menu I enable Show Overhang. And yes, here they are. Now I see all the overhangs. Looks like a little bit of an overkill, but I am not going to question it just yet. And go to Supports and enable those. Now it wants me to slice again. And here we have our supports. It's a bit hard to see, but there is a way to see all the parts in different color. If I click up here on the slicing results, it gives me the slicing menu, and here I click on color scheme and select line type. And here we go. Now we can see the supports in green and the rest of him orange. At this point, I could just print him, but I also want the printer to take a time lapse, so I can put that in the video. So for that, I will go to Other, and one of my options here is Timelapse. Nice thing with Bambu Studio is that if you hover over the buttons, it will give you pretty good description of what it does. And if that's not enough, you can also just click on some of the buttons and it will take you straight to Bambu Lab Wiki. And here is a detailed description with demo pictures and even videos. Look at that. Seems like we have two options. Smooth time lapse, where the print head gets out of the way for each picture, and traditional one, where you can watch the print head just zip around. I love the smooth version. It looks like the objects are just pouring in. I think I'm gonna try that. It says it will need to print the cleaning tower for the smooth time lapse, which will unnecessarily waste some of the filament, but let's splurge on my first try. So here I choose smooth, and now when I go to print plate, it is grayed out and wants me to slice plate again. So let's slice again, presumably to add the tower, so it can wipe its nose after every picture. Here it is with the tower added right here, and now the button for print plate is enabled again. By the way, in this view you can use the slider bar here on the right to look at how it is going to print layer by layer. Fun to look at, even if you don't yet know what any of it means. I imagine it gets even more exciting once you do. Now I just made sure my printer is actually turned on, and now we can press print plate. And yes, it's printing. Yay! This is what it looks like from my regular camera. And here is my time lapse. Just sort of pouring in the dragon. Love it. Done. My first sliced print. Baby dragon with all his trees and tower. Some of the tree supports are coming off already. So let's see how much trouble it will be taking all of them off. It is pretty easy. And I don't even have to have any special tool to do it. They just break off quite happily and relatively cleanly. One more note for newbies. That fun 17-second time lapse that you just saw actually represents 2¼ hours of printing time. So printing is not as fast as you may initially expect if your only experience is a 2D printer where pages just come flying out. The benchit print took about 20 minutes, and it is an object about 2½ inches long and 2 inches tall. So here's my baby dragon, first print that I personally sliced. Of course, there is a ton of stuff to learn to really use the slicer software. And then the next step up would be learning how to use some software that could design a file like this. But that will have to be another video. So until next time, go and make something.